Welcome back, everybody, to a new edition of BLERDS N the Hood with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington.
Swaggy, Blerd, Winston A. Marshall. And if you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. I know a few people coming over from Chill to Action that you saw me on earlier this week.
Look at them dropping them. Look, I know you saw me on Chill Action, baby.
This nigga was in the comments, you know.
I mean, no, because it wasn't about me, it was about you. But it was the way he said it, he was like, you know what I'm saying? I was on Chill Action. You said it so suave, though. You said it so suave, though.
But real talk, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. I mean, Jay says it best about his podcast. This is barbershop talk for nerds, but we talk about everything on here. We talk about bars.
I mean, this is like, the mad time. Y'all gonna see me. I need my coffee because I'm going through a thing.
I need my buble.
So I'm going through a thing. Like, I do call the Mad Titan Podcast Barbershop Talk for Nerds, but this is what we doing. Like, this is like legit the real extended version of, we just chopping it up talking shit. Like, because things happen throughout the week that we have to figure out, what do we want to talk about? What don't we want to talk about? What do we want to condense into these stories? What do we want to put into this show? By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube and you notice that it's not on Facebook anymore, so we put a lot of clips in here, and I try to edit a lot of things, put a lot of clips in here, make this a full-fledged show. Well, Facebook started tripping. Excuse me. Last week, I put in a clip from a Twitter video about the dude that went his big ass through the wall, right? Yeah. And Twitter was like, Facebook was like, so Juke and Media own the video. They like, you can't put it up there. Like, okay, so now I get it. These are one of those Juke Media is one of those companies that buys videos and content it sees to build up its library.
So most likely what we'll probably do is we might clip out certain things here and there, but we will probably not be posting our full episodes on there anymore. All of that content will be here on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't follow us on the Facebook, because we will probably be putting our own memes up there, clips. If we do exclusive stuff, we might put it up there too. But the YouTube channel is where this is going to live. So please subscribe if you haven't already.
Because we need more subscribers so we can get an official URL.
That's
you know
the sad thing. We just want a URL. We ain't even at URL status.
We ain't even at URL status.
That was the sad thing on Chill to Action. Jake Agavetta posted it up. And that long ass extra letters and shit, HK, capital T, lowercase L.
And all I could do was just comment was like, God, we need our own URL. Like, please follow us. I think you need like 400 to 500 subscribers to have your own URL.
It's not even that much. I think it's 100.
No, we're at 2. We're almost at 3.
Oh, great. So it might have gone up to 1,000 now then, which sucks. They just put everything at 1,000.
Well, because YouTube keeps changing their goalposts. But that's a whole bunch of different other shit. You know, we can talk all about that in later.
Which, side note, so you're not gonna kill me, nigga? You good?
What?
Do you not remember what I said last night on Chill Action? You were mad as hell.
Oh, you shouldn't have brought that shit up, nigga. I literally had... So, let me tell you what this hoe ass bitch did, okay? So he was on Chill Action because I didn't have shit to do for 3 hours because I didn't want to start fucking packing early. I was like, I'm gonna watch my mans on the stream.
Packing for what?
I leave to Chicago in the morning.
I know, they don't know. When you just say you packing, they're like,
people, I would have told people at the end of the fucking show. Anyway. So I didn't want to start packing last night, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to watch my mans on the stream, you know what I'm saying, probably interact. And so John Roca, who's a homie of ours, we had the pleasure of doing Collider Sports Time with him a lot, and we told him we were going to get him on Blerd and Go. He was like, when y'all going to put me on Blerd and Go? We was like, we can't right now. This nigga here decides to go. Well, let me tell you what it is. So we filmed this shit in Jay's bedroom. I was like, nigga, everybody don't need to know where the fuck this is filmed from. Like, nigga, we just filmed from my house in an empty room. Not specifically. Yeah, this is just Jay's bedroom. Like, nigga, the bed is right here, okay? My bed is right here. You know what I'm saying?
I guess the reason why I wrote, because, we had Jeff B on Blerd and Go at one point. So probably that's why Jay was, or John Roca was like, this is some old bullshit. You just not gonna have me over. You just gonna do me like that. We originally were starting to shoot this when we first did our test of this. We were shooting it in his living room on the couch, which left plenty of space for people to come in and chop it up and have a beer and shit like that. But then we kind of decided to go with this format. We're going to figure out one way or the other. I'm about to move, so there's a possibility if we have more space there, maybe we can do it there.
I might get rid of this big-ass desk one day. Who knows? I got a big-ass desk by my wall, but I still got to figure out moving shit around. But nonetheless, this whole-ass bitch right here, this is basic bitchness of Winston A.
I mean, whatever, man. When I was on Chill to Action yesterday, because all I had was my desktop, my hamper was in clear sight. But if you notice, ain't no clothes in it because I just did my laundry. I'm not a heathen.
In our first story today, disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein has officially been found guilty on 2 of his 5 charges.
And that's why it was only a golf clap, because unfortunately, the more serious charges like first degree sexual assault and things like that, he did not. He was found guilty for what, third degree sexual assault?
Third degree rape, which is weird because I don't think nobody's ever heard, like you've heard of second degree murder and second degree different things, but third degree rape was like, whoa. And I can't remember the other charge, but it was like, okay, so here's the thing. These are Harvey's charges in New York. He still has charges yet that he has to face in Los Angeles. Does that mean he will possibly get more time? Well, this is how the justice system works. For every day you spend in prison, it's 2 days on your sentence. So if he is sentenced to 5 years with good behavior, he can do 2.5 years. That's off his New York charges alone.
So third degree, which is an E-class felony. There's three different definitions. The one that applies here: he or she engages in sexual intercourse with another person without such person's consent, where such lack of consent is by reason of some factor other than incapacity to consent. So in this case, a power dynamic issue. So obviously that's kind of what they're implying here. Is it's not because they're knocked out or drunk; it's because they can't say anything for it. So I'm curious.
Wait, say that. So say the breakdown of it again, real quick.
So it's 3. It's either
I want to hear the third.
So the third one is he or she engages in sexual intercourse with another person without such person's consent, where such lack of consent is by reason of some factor other than incapacity to consent.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I get you now with
so
the
it's
power.
A power dynamic.
Yeah, and he was also charged with criminal sexual assault. So that's what it was.
Criminal sexual assault. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. That and the third degree rape. Okay, because I didn't know that there was a definition for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, no, because like now we're hearing more and more legal definitions of things we didn't know that there was a legal definition for. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, statutory rape was the thing you used to hear of, right? And you found out that because people were involved in relationships, you were like, wait, they're only 2 years younger than me. I'm in high school or just got out of high school, blah, blah, blah. And these different things or how certain things are worded is what I'm saying. If that makes sense.
No, I get you.
So yeah, so again, here's the crazy part. As soon as he was sentenced, he was supposed to be taken immediately to jail. Immediately. Like you go straight to jail. Well, Harvey did not go straight to jail. He went straight to the hospital because he began to complain of chest pains.
He's being a little bitch baby because he had a fucking panic attack. And on it, like I actually saw a really interesting.
Harvey was like, "They finna fuck me."
It's not even that, but I think that a friend of mine, she posted something on Facebook which I thought was super on point, where it was like he was complaining of chest pains and had to go to the hospital, and she said, "Yeah, that's a panic attack, you piece of shit. That's what all those women were feeling when you did all that shit to them, you rapist." And I was like, fuck, that's pretty fucking on point. You
pretty
literally
much
feeling exactly what those women were feeling with you fucking pressing on them like that. So I know a lot of people were upset, and I was as well, that he didn't get all the charges put on him. But right now, it looks like he's still set to face anywhere from 5 to 25 years for the 2 sentences, or sentences for these 2 charges he was found guilty of. So I am very curious to see how sentencing plays out. And he's still, like you said, he's still has to be tried in Los Angeles.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Like I said, it was kind of crazy because here's the thing. I thought at first he might walk because
there was fear.
The jury were like, when the jury has to keep hearing testimony over and over again, that means jurors aren't all on the same page. It's not unanimous on certain things. They were unanimous on certain ones, but the serious charges they weren't. Now here's the problem. Just because they are unanimous on something doesn't mean they're unanimously guilty. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that. And so a lot of people, the fear was he was going to walk, but of course he didn't, and that's a good thing. And now a lot of people come and spoken out about it, like hopefully this shifts the power dynamic in Hollywood as a whole and in, just in power.
Well, and this, a lot of journalists were calling this a watershed moment, and I agree, for the Me Too movement, because this is, obviously it started off with a bunch of different stories, but this was the first major case to come out of the Me Too movement. So if he had gotten off, this would have been huge. This could have completely shifted that dynamic, and this movement that had been pushing for the last few years may have potentially come to a halt. So the fact that he did get found guilty of at least a few of those charges, and I apologize, it's 5 to 29 years, not 5 to 25. So we will see what happens.
Let me play the unfortunate devil's advocate with this. we've have heard some men who've been involved in the Me Too scandals who've been cleared in a sense, who've been exonerated. So I agree. This could have been, if Harvey got off, it would have been a big thing to the whole, the movement as a whole. But you have had those individuals as of right now who because it went real quick when there was an accusation, everybody went one way, and then when all the facts played out, it, like I said, it exonerated them. And the court of public opinion is a monster. Mm-hmm. That's the monster. And a lot of people forget that. The court of public opinion is not a real court. But a lot of people hold weight to it as such.
I would just say, and this is not just specifically with Me Too. I think it's with any serious situation where somebody is being accosted or put upon or anything like that. And this is dealing with race issues. This is dealing with LGBTQ issues. This is dealing with Me Too movement type stuff. This is dealing with anything. I think that we need to listen to and hear everybody that says something, and then take our time to look at all the evidence and then take appropriate action.
I agree.
I think what specifically, and it doesn't have to be something as serious as the stuff that Harvey's talking about, but I look at, for example, Jamila Jamil, who is going to be a host or a judge on a ballroom show. Mm-hmm. She got completely attacked and dragged by the LGBTQ community, and she was like, I wasn't really ready to say anything personally, but she herself identifies as queer, and she's not hosting the show. She is just judging. So, the fact that we're so quick to hear one thing and jump on people no matter what it is, it's a dangerous time for anybody to really grow and learn and to, correct problematic behaviors.
Absolutely.
I am not saying that we shut anything up. I'm just saying that I think we have to make sure we do our due diligence.
Speaking of problematic behaviors, bullying is a big issue that a lot of people still face. I myself went through it heavily as a child. I'll go into my story later. But a story that has touched a lot of people's heart and has opened a very big conversation. 9-year-old Quaden Bales, his mother took to Instagram, or Facebook Live, posting a video of him crying after school after being bullied by his classmates, and him even saying, I want to die. He wanted to cut his own throat. He wanted to hang himself. And she, was putting it out there. She even said in the video, she normally doesn't show you all the bad times. She shows you all the good times. And so she put this one out there. Well, comedian Brad Williams, one of my good homies, I got much love for Brad, because Quaden, I also forgot to mention, suffers from dwarfism. Now, which causes, again, short in height, genetic abnormality in the formation of the skull, if you will. Brad Williams, who also suffers from the same thing, took light to this and decided to set up a GoFundMe for Quaden and his mom, because all he's ever wanted to do was to go to Disneyland, right? Brad initially set up the GoFundMe for $18,000. They are in New Zealand, I believe it is. Is New Zealand or Australia? Australia. So, of course, with flight, hotel, park admission, having money, $18,000 should pretty much cover it, right? As of yesterday, when I was prepping this show, the GoFundMe had over $440,000.
Wow. That's wild, man. I the one thing that I really appreciate about this story is the fact that I think about this, and I think about DeAndre Arnold down in Houston. We're seeing situations where when people are really faced up against bullshit and injustice, you're seeing people that are rallying around and genuinely doing the right thing to try and help people. I really appreciate that. The thing that makes me nervous, that we'll get to the second half of the story, and it's very hard to tell if these are haters or if this is true. There's reports that potentially the young man is actually not 9 years old. He's 18 and he's an actor. And so now there's this weird thing about whether or not this is real or not. Now, I don't know how I feel about it one way. I don't know enough. I've been watching this unfold, and I really don't know enough to make a judgment call one way or the other. The only thing that I will say about it, I really, really, really pray and hope that this is not a scam and that this is a real thing. Not because I want this child to have been bullied, not at all. But talk about setting some shit back if this is another.
But we've had many moments like that.
Well, you heard what people have been calling this, right? They're like, if this ends up being another Jussie Smollett,
see,
the fact that that's become a thing now, that you just Jussie Smolletted a situation is like.
Well, because also the thing is, there are pictures on his Instagram and even his mom, him in designer clothes, flashing money, living the life. Right? There's even one thing with a sign with a lighted up 18, like he was celebrating his 18th birthday, as well as a popping bottles video. So it's really weird. Now there is a documentary video though from an actual show that goes back to, I believe it was 4 or 5 years when he was like 5 years old, supposedly, and would make him 9 or whatever right now. So it's so confusing throughout all of this what the situation is. I think it's rather hilarious when I've seen the sides on it, because Black Twitter and Black Facebook will never let you down, okay? I have said this before numerous times. When Black Twitter or Black Facebook wants to go in on something, they are relentless. Yeah. And they have gone in on Shorty. And when you watch like a comment thread, let's say a news outlet will post the picture or the video up, right? And you look at that comment thread and you watch how a non-black person in general will comment, oh man, this is so sad. I wish I had to give it to him. Somebody from Black Twitter or Facebook was like, well, your ass could have got scammed. Better keep your money. You be like, damn.
I just, I get it, I guess, in the same breath of what we were just talking about before. Like, don't be so quick to rush to judgment. If you notice, I've kind of taken like a step back stance on this because I don't know if I understand all the facts here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to condemn, because if this is a child that really was at that stage, I'm not going to make it worse and pile on. But at the same time, if it is a scam, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it comes out that it is and we have proof of that, all day. We can go in on this cat all day. But if not, it's a 9-year-old, man. Like,
I think the person you go after the most, not the 9-year-old, you go after the mother.
Well,
I think that's the and I'm be honest, if it is, and I'm not saying that it is by any stretch of the imagination, going after the if he's 18, then yeah, you kind of can legally go after him, I guess. But you go after the mama because she's the one who implemented it, right? You know what I'm saying? Because even some people have been saying, why did the mother exploit her child, putting this video up of him crying and swearing so much, which I understand why she did it.
Well, this makes me nervous because if I remember, there was another incident with a kid getting bullied last year where the mom put the video up, and he wasn't talking about killing himself, but he was like some middle schooler and something went down, and a similar thing. People were like throwing him money and stuff, and then it turned out that this motherfucker was out here faking everybody. Like the mother had, did this whole thing so they could get some money because they were poor or something like that. So like I don't know, man. I'm of the mindset, the only way that we can solve this, everybody stop being an asshole and stop bullying people, so then we can't get scammed by this.
So let me tell you about, I mentioned in the beginning of the story that I was bullied as a kid. So for those who know me, I'm bald-headed by choice. I can grow hair out. Me and Winston just talked about it. If I'm stressed, my shit grows out, and then it wants to act like it wants to fall out. But I can grow my hair. I choose to shave on my own. But because I shave my head, you cannot really notice this burn that I have on the side of my head, as well as on my right shoulder. This came from me being burned when I was 2 years old. I poured boiling water off the stove onto me, right? My burns were extremely severe as I was younger, of course. And as I've gotten older, they've shrunk in and gotten smaller. Well, growing up, I was called things like burnt biscuit, J washing machine.
Why J washing machine?
I have no idea because my last name is Washington.
Oh, okay. I thought that this had to do with the burn. I was like, what?
I don't know what that had to do. Melted putty, creepy crawlers on the shoulders, all these different things. Now, I understand that everyone is different, but with me, this is me personally, I have this thing called a smart mouth, and it just so happened when people kept talking about me, one day it kicked in like my mutant ability, and I let motherfuckers have it, because I can talk about you so bad that you will either A, want to fight, or B, run and cry.
Well, and this is an interesting dynamic that people talk, and I know we have other stories to get to, but if we don't get to them, honestly, if this is the conversation we're having, I'm fine with it. This is that weird back and forth that people have about black people in the dozens and how we honestly go in on each other. Now, a lot of that comes from, truthfully, black people have been dealing with such like heinous shit with Jim Crow and slavery and lynchings and everything else.
Segregation.
It's essentially was our way of laughing to prevent ourselves from crying.
Yes, absolutely.
But also, more importantly, that iron sharpens iron, that pressure creates diamonds, that the idea is that if I can throw this at you and you can get over it, nobody else can say or do anything that's going to make you worse. The only problem with that logic, though, is you're having to essentially mentally beat the shit out of somebody. And so there's this weird dynamic of like, just like if you were sparring in a martial art or boxing, do you got to take a couple blows to be able to get good at it and understand what that Yes, but there is a point where it's too much. Like some of those, I'm not gonna lie, I snickered a little bit when you said creepy crawly, but when they said melted pipe, that's fucked up, man. Like that's
it tickles the shit out of me now.
But at the time, you probably felt like the young man in Australia.
Oh, I was hurt. Like, don't get me wrong, I was hurt. And it definitely stung me at my core. And it is, and I'll be honest, this is me being completely transparent. One of the biggest things Winston and I have been talking about with this show. It is one of the reasons why my self-esteem is fucked up to this day.
And that's my point.
So, but I still will go. Let me tell you something. Me and Winston were at a bar a couple weeks ago, right? After before playing dodgeball. He was talking about a situation I had where I went in on Twitter. And he was like, he got a phone call because he didn't know what was going on. And then Winston saw it. He was like, Jesus! Like, who let this loose? And he was like, yo, you shouldn't burn bridges. I said, I will scorch the motherfucking earth.
Well, like, if we're just going to make jokes at this point, nigga, you went from like Jay Washington act tall to Clayface. Like, you just decided to just go and become a supervillain, my nigga, for real.
Supervillain boot camp instructor, baby.
All I'm saying is this. I don't think that a little bit of adversity is bad because it will toughen you up. But
yes.
There is a point that's too much.
I agree.
And I think that that's the problem that we're having, especially in a social media age, because it's one thing if it's the 2 or 3 dudes that, you know, are bullied. Because I got bullied in middle school, too. So that's that shit that, like, that kind of is one thing. But now we're in this age with social media where people will pile on, and that makes it infinitely worse.
So here's the thing, and I you know what, we're going to go on time, and I don't think we're going to get to too many more stories, and I don't give a shit. With this, social media, when people get piled on, right? I hate the fact that as a whole, as society as a whole, we've based our self-worth on that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if somebody's bullying you, quote unquote, in your comment section, you know what people do now? Turn the comments off, right? If somebody's harassing you on your Facebook page, you can block them. And then you hear about people getting emails. It's like, yo, block the email.
Well, the only thing I will say about some of this stuff, and this is the thing. I mean, one, as 2 men, what we don't understand is I know a lot of women on the internet, especially women in the public sphere. So I have friends. I mean,
no. I'm not
discrediting about that.
Please make
no. I get it, because sometimes it's too much. They'll literally just keep making new emails and just sending you shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I agree. But I think that there's this weird dynamic that we have to like be honest about. Is you have the situation of, yes, you block it at a certain point and you try and tune it out, but also what can be kind of crazy in the same way you have the participation trophies and safe spaces. There's a difference between doing that so you can get a thoughtful conversation and get your feelings out. There's another thing where, for example, that they're not allowing kids to read like Huckleberry Finn anymore. I think it's very important for kids to read Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah, because they don't want to see that. They don't want to see nigga Jim. But you need to
see it because you have to acknowledge it.
And also the one that, well, you know what's worse than that? The ones that were trying to edit it. They were trying to change it to friend Jim. Like, yo,
that's not what
that's
that history
worse.
Was.
That's worse.
I'm not saying that you keep shit around, but you cannot try and be like do revisionist
you can't erase
history.
Right. Revisionist history is not a good thing.
History, and I think that that's the weird balance we need to find. We need to find a way of not making things worse, but we need to acknowledge the stuff that's happening, because the truth is, even though we want the world to be all peaches and cream, like and whatnot, the issue is when you just turn off all your comments, there's still people in real life that are going to say and do shit like that.
That is not always true.
What do you mean?
Because some motherfuckers, the beautiful thing about social media for a lot of people is it gives them anonymity. A lot of people will not say the shit in your face that they would say in a comment.
Well, but this is what I'm trying to say, though. In this day and age that we live in, there's a reason that Charlottesville happened and things like that. There are people that feel hate or sex, like
yeah, but only when they're in groups. Let me be honest. The average skinny, goofy ass white racist boy is not walking up to you or me by himself talking shit. Sure. He is only gonna do it when he feels empowered around a group of people.
I don't disagree, but
that anonymity of him when he's behind a computer, he's tough. You goddamn niggers and blah blah blah.
No, I don't disagree with that either. What I'm saying is the idea, and man, I really like that we had like a legitimate ass debate today about some shit. This is kind of dope. The truth is that yes, there's a certain level of entitlement and power that people are going to feel, but if you're not preparing yourself for situations where you will deal with adversity, you're really going to be in trouble. It's the whole preacher's daughter syndrome, where if you shelter your child the whole time they're growing up, when they turn 18 and they're on their own, they might goddamn lose their motherfucking mind.
I've seen several Like, that shit is real.
You have.
I have seen. Hallelujah. Glory. Look, let's switch the subject. Let's go a little bit lighter, man, because this is Blerds in the Hood, talking about some nerd shit. We got our first full look at the new bat suit and the bat cycle. I know last week you saw the whole the redness from the camera test, but now we got its full look, and it looks tactical, and I like the bat cycle.
It kind of looks like, what was somebody saying? What, the Nightfall Batman is what they're going
Yeah.
with? That's dope.
It's the Nightfall, and we see a scene being shot in a graveyard, which again could tie into the longest Halloween, which we believe this story may be, so I'm here for it.
I want to talk about my favorite movie of last year. That's Parasite, because it's back in the news, because the orange fuck muppet decided he wanted to say this.
By the way, how bad were the Academy Awards this year? Did you see it? And the winner is a movie from South Korea. What the hell was that all about? We got enough problems with South Korea with trade. On top of it, they give him the best movie of the year. Was it good? I don't know. You know, I'm looking for like, where let's get Gone with the Wind. Can we get like Gone with the Wind back, please? Sunset Boulevard. So many great movies. The winner is from South Korea. I thought it was best foreign film, right? Best foreign movie. No, it was did this ever happen before?
This is hilarious to me because the distributor Neon had some things to say in response to that.
First of all, everybody else was like, yo, are you gonna go that racist real quick? So Neon put up this tweet, was like, it's understandable. He can't read. Because he was talking about the movie being in subtitles.
So fucking stupid.
Here's the fucked up thing you brought up earlier when we did this, because we had to re-record this a little bit, is that he brought up the oldest and whitest movie ever.
Gone with the Wind. He also said somehow, what was the other one?
Sunset something.
Sunset Boulevard. He said Sunset Boulevard and Gone with the Wind.
Has this motherfucker seen a movie in the last 70 years?
Also, I think he's a dumbass because it's the best picture of the year, meaning the picture that came out within that year. But it's what about foreign? You know what I'm saying? It's foreign. South Korea, we're having trade problems with them. So how do you give them a best picture? But it's not the American Oscars, bitch. It's just the Oscars. Fucking dumbass. He's like, the BAFTAs are called the British Film Awards. You know what I'm saying? Other things are labeled as what they are. Yes, the governing body of the Oscars is the American Motion Picture Association, but it is still called the Oscars, you fucking twit. Here's the last story we want to talk about for the day, okay? Oh, you're making me watch this in real time. So I want Winston to watch this in real time. All right. There was a video that happened, and it is a pole vaulting, okay? I'm going to show it to Winston on my laptop, and you guys are going to see exactly what he watches now.
Things can change in a split second, and on this jump, I knew literally right as I went over the bar, I could just...
No! No!
Dude pierced his scrotum in a pole vaulting incident. Yeah, that is... I couldn't make this shit up, ladies and gentlemen. Just why I had him to watch this shit in real fucking time.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Blerds in the Hood. Next week, Jay
I'll be in. The reason I'm packing, I'll be in Chicago. I leave tomorrow, Wednesday. So it's the day you're seeing this. I leave Wednesday. I'll be gone from Wednesday to Wednesday. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can catch me at C2E2, the Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo, McCormick Place.
Yeah. So I'll you can see me on SCN Live on Thursday. Next week, because he's not going to be here on Tuesday, we're going to do a live stream. So
we're going to try to do a live stream because again, we don't have enough subscribers to go live yet.
So we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, but we'll have an episode for you guys.
Maybe, you know what we'll probably do is we'll just like we'll maybe do the live stream on like his channel, but then we'll like we'll download it and copy it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I just don't feel good right now, so if you just want to wrap it up, maybe
follow us on our social medias, which are below. Check out the Patreons. The links are equal to the social medias as well. We'll holler at y'all next week.